Erika Kirk has found herself back at the center of public controversy, and this time, the spectacle unfolded beneath the glaring lights of the Fox Nation Patriot Awards. On November 6th, the widow of the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was tragically shot and killed during a speech at Utah Valley University on September 10th, appeared on stage in what seemed to be an emotionally charged moment with country star Jason Aldean. What began as a brief onstage acknowledgement quickly evolved into a drawn-out embrace that has since dominated headlines and ignited fierce online debate. Within hours, a clip of the interaction surfaced on TikTok, uploaded by a user who not only captured the exchange, but zoomed in on Aldean's wife, Brittany, as she stood nearby. That subtle zoom alone became the spark for what would grow into a full-blown internet wildfire. The video, which spread rapidly across X, TikTok, and Instagram Reels, captured Erika leaning in for what many described as a prolonged and emotional hug. To some viewers, the moment seemed innocent enough, a widow seeking comfort and recognition at a patriotic event honoring her late husband's influence and sacrifice. But to others, it came off as deeply inappropriate, a breach of boundaries that looked especially uncomfortable given that Aldean's wife was watching just a few feet away. The online reaction was instant, sharp, and divided. One commenter on TikTok wrote, "Whatever happened to a respectful handshake? That hug went on far too long." Another declared, "Completely inappropriate, and Jason should have known better." In countless other threads, social media users dissected every detail of the footage: Erika's body language, Jason's attempt to pull away, the way Brittany's expression seemed to shift from polite smile to visible discomfort. One user claimed he tried to step back at least once, but she held him tighter and pulled him in again. Another observer described the scene as awkward and tone-deaf, adding, "This isn't the kind of behavior people expect from a woman who's still publicly mourning her husband." But as with most viral scandals, there were those who rushed to Erika's defense. Supporters argued that grief manifests differently for everyone and that critics were projecting inappropriate meaning onto a moment of human empathy. One viewer countered, "People really love turning everything into drama. That was just a hug of appreciation, nothing more." Another chimed in, "She's been through so much. Maybe everyone should stop pretending to know what she's feeling." For them, the embrace symbolized resilience and gratitude rather than impropriety, a rare glimpse of warmth in an era where authenticity is often punished by public scrutiny. Still, the controversy refused to die down. In fact, it only deepened when users began connecting this latest episode to a similar incident that occurred days earlier at a Turning Point USA event at the University of Mississippi. During that gathering, Erika was photographed sharing another intense embrace, this time with Vice President J.D. Vance. That hug, too, went viral after footage surfaced showing her placing her hand gently behind the vice president's head while his hands rested near her waist. Critics at the time described the interaction as uncomfortably intimate, particularly given the high-profile nature of both individuals and the somber tone of the event. When footage from the Aldean hug emerged, many online critics labeled it a pattern of theatrics. They accused Erika of blurring the lines between mourning widow and media personality, arguing that her behavior had shifted from heartfelt to performative. One ex-user wrote, "Every time she steps on stage, she turns grief into a spectacle. It's starting to look like a brand." Another post, viewed over 1 million times, read, "This isn't about loss anymore, it's about attention." The sentiment echoed through multiple threads, with users questioning whether Erika's public displays were expressions of genuine pain or calculated attempts to maintain relevance in the public eye. Public sympathy, once abundant in the weeks following Charlie Kirk's death, now seemed to be fracturing. When the tragedy first struck, countless figures across the political and entertainment landscape offered condolences, with tributes pouring in from supporters, critics, and neutral observers alike. Erika, Once known primarily for her pageant background as a former Miss Arizona and as the poised wife of a high-profile conservative figure, had been thrust into an overwhelming wave of public attention. Her composure and grace during early appearances earned her admiration. But as her media presence expanded, attending interviews, award shows, and conservative events, her demeanor began to invite more skepticism than sympathy. Cultural commentators have since weighed in on the phenomenon. Some argue that Erika Kirk's case illustrates the modern collision between grief, fame, and digital voyeurism. In an age where personal tragedy unfolds under the constant gaze of social media, every gesture, every tear, and every hug becomes fodder for analysis. Others suggest that Erika may simply be struggling to navigate a public identity that was once tied closely to her husband's. With Charlie gone, she has become a symbol, willingly or not, of a movement searching for direction and meaning in his absence. Meanwhile, supporters maintain that she's being unfairly targeted. They see a widow trying to hold herself together under unbearable scrutiny, being criticized for doing what anyone might do in a moment of emotion. "She's damned if she does and damned if she doesn't," one follower commented under a Fox Nation highlight reel. "If she stands still, people say she's cold. If she cries or hugs someone, they say she's inappropriate. People just want to tear her down." Despite the split in public opinion, Erika has continued to attend public engagements and maintain a presence on social media. Her Instagram posts, once filled with family photos and motivational quotes, now attract comment sections filled with both sympathy and sarcasm. Every caption she writes, no matter how benign, invites speculation about her motives. When she posted a simple message thanking supporters for their prayers last week, one commenter responded, "Are you thanking them? Or just feeding the algorithm?" Even entertainment media outlets have joined the conversation. Tabloids like the National Enquirer and gossip blogs such as Daily Scoop now have turned her into a recurring headline, treating each public appearance as a new episode in an ongoing drama. One article went as far as to call her the most controversial widow in America, while another compared her media presence to that of political spouses who transformed personal tragedy into platforms for advocacy or notoriety. Behind the noise, however, lies a more complex narrative about perception and grief in the modern age. Erika Kirk's situation reflects how society often demands that public figures mourn in a way that's comfortable for the audience, restrained, dignified, but never too emotional, never too human. When those expectations are defied, the backlash is swift and unforgiving. For every person accusing her of seeking attention, there's another pointing out that she's being judged more harshly because she's a woman showing visible emotion in a space dominated by political and cultural tension. Still, it's hard to deny that Erika's recent choices have blurred the line between mourning and media. The decision to appear at consecutive high-profile events so soon after her husband's death has led some to question whether she's coping or capitalizing. "She's grieving in public," one columnist for Media Lens Review noted, and in the digital age, public grief always comes with a price. The same attention that comforts can also consume. As the debate continues, one thing remains clear: Erika Kirk has become a lightning rod in the posthumous legacy of her husband's movement. Whether she intended to or not, she now occupies a space that is both sympathetic and polarizing, a woman simultaneously pitted and criticized, admired and ridiculed. Her story has become less about one moment of inappropriate closeness and more about how fame, tragedy, and digital judgment collide in the 21st century. For now, Erika remains silent on the backlash. Neither she nor Jason Aldean has issued a formal statement addressing the viral hug, though Aldean's representatives have quietly declined comment. Those close to the situation claim that Erika views the moment as harmless and has been surprised by the intensity of the reaction. But in today's media climate, surprise offers little protection. Each new appearance, each photograph, and each handshake or hug will continue to be recorded, dissected, and shared, frame by frame, as the world decides for itself what it wants Erika Kirk to represent: sincerity, scandal, or something far more complicated. The controversy surrounding Erika's behavior, whether fair or exaggerated, underscores the unforgiving nature of public attention. Once a symbol of poise and perseverance, she now stands as a mirror to a culture obsessed with reading between the lines. Whether her intentions were innocent or not, Erika Kirk's story reveals a truth about modern celebrity. In an age of viral judgment, it isn't the act itself that matters most, it's how the world decides to see it.